what's poppin'? It's your boy Jay the Comedian. How y'all doing today? Oh, how am I doing? I feel amazing. And yes, this is an ExJw video, so you know what to do. Hit the like button and make sure you leave a comment to help the YouTube algorithm show it to as many people as possible. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. You have very nice forearm hair. Yeah, you're not gonna get another forearm hair compliment anytime soon. I'm taking the choice out of your hands. You have to subscribe to the channel. And if you already subscribed, leave a muscle emoji with a thumbs up emoji. Let me know you're rocking with my forearm hair. That's some nice forearm hair for you. Anyway, today I want to talk about a video that one of my Patreon people asked me to make. Yes, my Patreon people, my PP people. That don't sound right. But anyway, she asked me, why do a lot of people who are ex-Jehovah Witnesses feel so uncomfortable and weird when it comes to things that we now know are perfectly fine and okay? Why do we still feel weird and uncomfortable while doing it? Well, that's what the video is going to be about, and I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about the business of being a Jehovah Witness. But without further ado, let's get to the video. Let's go! I'll play dead again. Alright, welcome to the channel, and I want to first go into why we feel so uncomfortable doing certain things that we know are perfectly fine after we leave the organization. First, brainwashing. We have been told over and over and over again that the only way you can get to God and make God happy and for you to be happy yourself is to do what the organization says. Now, they don't want you to play sports. There's a reason for that. They don't want you to have birthday parties and celebrate holidays. There's a reason for that. And one of the quickest ways to break this brainwashing is to know the reasons behind why they want to do those things. And that brings us to the video today. A lot of people look at the Jehovah Witness organization as a religion. That's not right. It's not a religion. It's far from it. It's a company. It's a business. It is a for-profit organization that doesn't have to pay taxes. There's a lot of businesses and companies all around the world. And as time has progressed in our lives, companies have been put under more and more rules in order to protect the employees and also still help the organization be profitable. Now, if it was up to the organizations themselves, they try to get around each and every rule as much as they can. And they do. That's usually the goal, because we know that the laws, rules, and regulations are meant to meet a balance, you know, where the company's employees are being fairly treated and the company itself can still be profitable. The only way a business can maximize their profits and completely just step on the neck of their employees is to claim that they're a religion. This is what the Jehovah Witnesses do. Just think about it. They're the only company who don't have to pay their workers, who don't have to give them any type of 401k. They don't have to pay for their benefits, their health, their, dental, eyes. They get to keep all that money in-house. And not only that, instead of paying their employees pay them in the form of donations, their free labor, their kids, literally any and everything that one can have and can give to somebody else. The people inside of that organization is constantly giving to the organization. Just imagine a company where people are so loyal to the company that if anybody, anywhere, ever says anything negative about their company, they cut them off completely. Don't even give them a chance to talk. What company you know has people that loyal? Maybe Google, because they got that slide, That's a nice slide at Google. But for the most part, companies cannot do that because it's bad for the worker. Nowhere in that scenario is the worker being taken care of. Well, they do pay people in hope. Now, how much does hope cost? It's actually extremely cheap to produce. All you gotta do is make sure they're at every meeting. All you gotta do is make sure they're buying into the crap that you're pushing out. And as long as you never actually have to pay the hope that you're selling them, you're good. Just think about it. You can only get paid by the organization if you die or if the world ends. That's the only way that the organization will have to pay its people. And the worst part is that they've promised people their paychecks before. And when that day came, they hit them with a overlapping generation. Can you imagine that? You went to your boss, you're like, hey, it's the 15th, where's my paycheck? Actually, your work week ain't over yet. It's an overlapping work week. So I know we supposed to pay y'all on 1975, but turns out it's an overlapping work week. We were wrong about that. Actually, no, you were wrong about that. We're not going to take any responsibility. An overlapping paycheck. That's what they try to sell. But people are buying it. Sometimes all people want is just a little hope, and they're willing to sacrifice anything to get it. And they have. A lot more than most people are willing to do. This is what people need to know. This is what people need to learn and get inside of their head. Because a lot of people think that they treat people the way that they treat people because they're just evil, when really they're not evil. They just don't care about you. They're heartless. I guess that can kind of be evil, but they're more heartless than anything else. They literally just don't care. They're trying to get as much as they can from you. And that doesn't stop when you're dead. They try to use even your funeral to recruit new members. This is what this organization does. If a company can masquerade as a religion, it gets to do things that other companies can only dream about. Like having a staff that works 7 days a week and literally spends 24 hours a day thinking about almost exclusively how to help and build the company. Even when they have kids, from infancy, they train people how to work for this company. Other companies cannot do that because of the laws and regulations. You get sued before you get 5 weeks in. But because it's a religion, and because they've gotten people to buy in that it's a religion, they get to do it without impunity. So, the reason I'm saying all this is to get you to think why they behave the way they do, why they have the rules that they have. You can't think about it as a religion. You got to think about it as a business decision. Why do they not want you going to school and getting this big education? Because they know if you're not always inside the company, you're not always working, you're not always busy, then you start learning different things and your mind opens up. And then the more your mind opens up and the more you get to hang out with people who aren't on board with the whole cult thing, the more you realize how silly it is and how utterly ridiculous it is. And it may make you leave the company. And when you have a company that doesn't pay its workers, those type of individuals are hard to come by. You do not want to go out there and have to get new employees. We have to realize that right now the goal of the organization is no longer to bring people in. It's no longer to preach the word of God. It's to keep the people that they have in. That's the rules. That's the goal. Just keep the people that they already have doing what they're already doing. Because according to this year's numbers, because according to 2020's numbers, we can all see they're dropping in membership. There are 3 things I want you to keep in mind when you're thinking about the Jehovah Witness organization. One is branding, the other is competition, the other is advertising. Now, these 3 things are very important. First, let's look at branding. The Jehovah Witness organization are very, very strict about how they look to the outside world. Now, they'll tell you, oh, we just, want you to be modestly dressed and we want you to shave your beard and stuff. Give you a nice, clean look. Because that's what Jehovah would want. When in reality, that's what somebody who works for a highly reputable company wants their employees to look like. Now, why is that? Because when you're trying to sell an organization to people, or you're trying to sell an image to people, you have to have everybody inside look a certain way. Now, it's obvious and basic known fact that people are more likely to look favorably to an organization where all their members are clean and uniformly dressed. Thus, there's less scrutiny and less attention paid to it. Because you just say, oh, those good, clean Jehovah Witnesses, they always on point. That's their brand that they're selling. That's the brand they're pushing out to the world. That's why they do not want anybody to contact the police when something dangerous happens inside the organization. That's why they always want the elders to handle things like attacks on kids and stuff like that, because they don't want to damage the brand. They'll tell you, oh, don't bring reproach on Jehovah, but it's basically what they're saying is, hey, don't hurt the brand. We're trying to sell a brand here. We can't have you hurting the brand. So that's why you need to keep branding in mind, because any good business has to protect the brand that they put out. And the next thing is competition. Now, when it comes to competition, there's other businesses out there because everybody's trying to be successful. And there's only so much money to go around. So businesses have deep and very vigorous competition with other businesses. That's why the Jehovah Witnesses don't want to see you in anybody else's church. That's why if you get baptized as a Jehovah Witness and you end up joining another religion, that's one of the worst things you could do, because it hurts the brand and you're being stole by the competition. They don't want to have the competition to have any positive life, because if you lose your workers, and they go work for somebody else, you lose the money that they were giving you. You lose the money and potential that they were giving you. You lose those kids that they would give you in the future. You lose any and everything that these people are giving. And when it comes to Jehovah's Witnesses, the organization asks for everything. That's why they're so against things that is in competition with the religion. And I mean, they're greedy with it too. Like you having to sacrifice to go work a job to put your family in the best position possible, that's competition for the organization. They can't have you playing sports, having to miss meetings to go to games and stuff like that. Competition can't happen. You have to work around the organization's schedule. There can be no competition with the organization. The organization is first and second because they simply cannot risk losing people, losing money, losing power. So competition, they're very competitive. That organization is extremely competitive. And the next thing is advertising, what they put out to the world. Now, as we all know, you cannot really get new members now. Because even when they go out and they're cart witnessing, if you notice, they don't approach people no more. Even on their carts, I'm usually pretty hard pressed to see even the name Jehovah on any of the literature because they've learned the name Jehovah kind of turns people off. It's bad for advertising. The Jehovah's Witnesses have discovered that Jehovah's name is bad for advertising. That is so crazy. Like, that should be a huge red flag, but it's not. But they're all about advertising. When somebody who's a Jehovah's Witness dies, usually, not even usually, all the time, their funeral is used as a recruitment tool for more people. You cannot go to a Jehovah's Witness funeral and have just everything be about the person that passed away. No, they're going to talk about what they believed and how much they're going to be loved and they're going to be in the new system. And hey, if you want to be in the new system, come on down to the Jehovah's Witness Kingdom Hall. That's how it is. It's a recruitment meeting. It's not a funeral. They could care less about the dead person because it doesn't help them. And this is the thing. I know personally that when it comes to that organization and their members, it's not nothing personal. It's just business. But even though it's just business, it's not personal for them. It's very personal for me. And as I'm sure if you're watching this video, it's personal for you too. They make it personal. They make your family sacrifice the love that a family is supposed to have. That natural love that they talk about all the time, they take that away. A mother is naturally in love with their child. A mother is naturally inclined to always want to be in close contact with their kids and their grandkids. And same thing with fathers, sisters, brothers. Everybody, a family is supposed to be together. And not only that, they gaslight you, telling you like, oh, if you want to have a truly happy and connected family, you need to be a Jehovah's Witness. When that is literally the most gaslighty thing you could ever say to anybody. They destroy families. Because, once again, a family is competition. A family is one of the few things that you're supposed to put over everything else. So their goal is always to put themselves even above family. Can you imagine that? An organization that's so greedy that it will watch and rip and participate in ripping a family apart just so it can continue to be profitable. It's stuff like that that just blows me away. But it makes sense when you think about it as just a greedy organization that found a loophole in calling itself a religion. You can get away with a lot of stuff inside of an organization if instead of calling it an organization, it says religion. Because according to them, getting rid of God is super easy. All you gotta say is, hey, I speak for God. And then at that moment, if you get people to buy into it, you're God. And your company is God's kingdom. So a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses believe that they're in God's kingdom and that they are helping build up God's kingdom when in fact, they're just getting taken advantage of by a greedy corporation. But anyway, that's all I got on this matter. I hope y'all having a great day. I'm having a great day. It's your boy Jay the Comedian. Holla at your guala. Deuces. Cart witnessing, if you notice, they don't approach people no more. Even on their carts, I'm usually pretty hard pressed to see even the name Jehovah on any of the literature because they've learned the name Jehovah kind of turns people off. It's bad for advertising. The Jehovah Witnesses have discovered that Jehovah's name is bad for advertising. That is so crazy. Like, that should be a huge red flag, but it's not.